Alright, so hey guys, it's been a few months since my last video. Sorry it's been so long. I've actually been really busy. A lot's been going on since I last did a video. It's been a few months actually. I've been in the lab working on a new book. It's actually my first novel. It's a book that's been in the works for a few years. Collaborating with some other writers and a few pastors. We're really close to a release date, but with the pandemic and everything going on, we're talking about if we need to push the date. That's kind of where I've been, but right now I felt led to do a video today because yesterday in my prayer time, I reached out to about 30 of my longtime friends, colleagues, family members. Basically, I was led to reach out because everything happening right now with the COVID-19, the coronavirus that's going on, and I just had it on my heart, certain people that I wanted to pray about. I felt like God wanted me to reach out to them, check on how they were, how everything was going with them. A lot of people from my list they live all over the world, different parts of the country and different parts of the world. So I wanted to make sure to reach out and see like what they were up to and see like how they were actually doing, because some of them I hadn't talked to in a few weeks, others I hadn't talked to in a few months. And I think with one thing that came up in my time in prayer, it was perspective. So with that, I think this virus and how it's kind of changed how we live day to day, it's definitely been a thing that affects our perspective, like what's important. Everybody, we have routines. We go to work, we go do a 9 to 5, or some people work at 8 to 6, or whatever your thing is. You work graveyard shift or whatever. We have routines, and we fall into these pathways where we're like so fixated on schooling and work, and that's like our pattern. But when something like this throws it off, it completely changes our perspective on what things are important and how we manage our time. Honestly though, I think the way that we live our lives aren't impacted that drastically so far. I think things could look different in a week or two, but I mean, we already homeschool our daughter, and the work we do, we work from home. We have our own businesses. So I feel like we don't experience it as much as people in different areas or with different lifestyles. So we're not getting sent home from a job that we have been working at for years, or have our kids sent home because they're closing the school. So we see that, but we're not directly impacted by it as much. But in saying all that, we need to have a very balanced approach to how we take in our information. And for a lot of people, this has kind of broken them out of their daily routines. And I think whenever these kind of things happen, where you're forced to kind of change and take a step back and really have perspective on your life, it puts things in a different light. So I think a lot of people are evaluating, well, what are my priorities? And like, I go into work and I spend more time at work than I do seeing my family, or I'm working this hard to just pay these bills, and I'm like, what are your priorities? With things changing so drastically like they are the next couple of weeks, I think people are maybe reassessing things, and I think that's a good thing. But in terms of how we approach this, especially as a believer, I think it's important to, I guess, look at it from God's perspective. So when I was talking to my friends and praying over them and their families yesterday, it actually, a lot of them were touched that I was led to reach out, and a lot of them did have prayer requests, and some people were dealing with anxiety. Some of them recommended praying for their close friends, or like elderly family members, or some people have schools and ministries that they have. So one is a pastor over their local church, another one has a preschool that they have for kids, and just a lot of these things being shut down. And like right now, a lot of people are kind of on lockdown, in quarantine in their own home, self-isolating, I think is what they call it. So there's just a lot going on, and we definitely want to be careful, and we want to be informed as well. It's important that we are responsible and we take the necessary precautions, so we're not being careless and we're not being foolish. A lot of people would go into crowded places to prove a point, or I mean, there's even like this silly coronavirus challenge where people are like licking door handles and seats, public seats in the bathroom, and all these different things. That's obviously ridiculous. So we take the necessary precautions. We clean our hands, and we wash, and we keep a distance, and things that we can do. But one thing that we shouldn't really live in is fear. And we don't have to live in fear. We don't have to be worried about like what's gonna happen tomorrow, and is the whole country gonna be shut down, and what is life gonna be like, and what if some people contracted it, and what if they come into my house or my dwelling. So like all those things, fear is very irrational a lot of the times, and it really doesn't serve you very well. So we need to just be careful not to get caught up in unsubstantiated sensationalism. So as a believer, my faith is in God, and with that I know that there's a lot of comfort that people are needing right now, and because there's just so much fear online and in the media, and it's kind of getting out of hand. So we need to take the necessary precautions and take care of things that we need to, and know that this is something that is not life-threatening or deadly to most people in our population, but it is something that is serious, and we need to take it seriously. With that, I have a few scriptures that I did want to share that did help some of the people that I talked to yesterday, and I think it could be helpful for you guys to hear them too. So what I'll do is I'll just post a few of them, and I'll read through some of the short excerpts and different parts of them so you guys can follow along. Hopefully they'll be helpful. Psalms 91, pretty much this whole chapter is really encouraging. The gist of it is basically, the Lord is your refuge. You need not fear pestilence or the plague. He is your shield and your protection, and He is gonna guard you, so you don't have to be living in fear of being wiped out by some disease. Romans 8:28, God can work all things together for good. So no matter what things that we face in life, whatever storms or hardships or trials, if you do know the Lord and you are faithful to Him and you love Him, He will work out whatever things that seem against you, whatever things that seem terrifying or scary or harmful. He is able to work those things out, where even though He didn't create those things or introduce them into your life, He's able to save you and protect you from them. And Luke 12:25-26, worry does you no good, so don't get caught in this trap. Worry, pretty much like fear, it's irrational. It's a thing that you're scared about something that hasn't even happened to you, or the potential of something potentially going wrong or happening, and the fear and the worry is just going to be a crippling thing. And we're called to not live in fear. We're not given the spirit of fear. We're not to be worrying about every single thing. And not to say that you don't protect yourself or follow the kind of instructions that have been the guidelines that we've been hearing that have been going out from the government. Those are prudent, and those are good things that we can definitely keep in mind. And speaking to that point, Proverbs 22:3, the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. So definitely don't be this simple and don't change anything, because if you're out and shaking a million people's hands and then just like wiping your mouth or something, that would not be prudent. So take care of yourself. There's too many reports and things that we've seen. I do a bunch of NBA art, and I worked with NBA clients before, and it was kind of, a lot of it is sad when things get shut down. But definitely when the NBA closing or postponing the season was a big thing to me, and hearing about the basketball players that were like being flippant and just kind of not taking it seriously, and the fact that those first tests, the first that tested positive, were probably the ones who were touching all the microphones and just being kind of flippant and foolish, are probably one of the biggest reasons why it spread across the different athletes and the players, and eventually led to the postponing of an entire season. So that one did hit my community hard, and a lot of the people that I work with, and so that was the non-prudent or foolish way to handle on this kind of thing. So we're not going to be like that. And I guess the last verse I want to leave you with is James 4:8, which simply says, wash your hands. All right, so thank you guys. I hope you are safe out there. I just wanted to to say my piece about how we can keep peace in this time as people that are living in an age where something is out there. Because it's weird, like for me, I went out with my family running some errands to get some essentials, but we were out the other day with my family. On the news, we're seeing one thing where it's like everything's falling apart. There's no, like, all the stores are crowded, and there's like all the essentials in stores are sold out everywhere, and it's like everybody's being locked down in their homes. And that may be the case in other places, but here in Southern California, it's kind of weird. You watch something on TV and you see the news and it says one thing, but then you go outside and everybody's like normal. There's kids like on playgrounds, and the mall is still crowded. There's a bunch of people at stores, and not really a lot of people wearing masks or anything. So it's just kind of a weird feeling, like you're in the Twilight Zone. But that being said, we need to be careful, but we need to be informed, and definitely look into things that you may see online. A lot of conspiracy theories, try not to pay too much mind into those things. A lot of those things have been disproven, and it's easy to find out if you do a little bit of research online what things are verified or what things are factual. So make sure you guys do that, and just don't get tossed to and fro by every different wind of rumors and different things going around. But that being said, I hope you guys take care of yourselves and be safe out there, and keep in touch with your family, and keep close with the Lord. Keep reading scriptures and praying for God's guidance and his protection, and for his protection over people who already have the sickness. It's not super deadly. It usually will run its course in a couple weeks, and it's mostly with elderly people or people who have already health issues or immune issues. So pray for those people who may have it or are in danger of getting it, and just be covered and be safe. I'll talk to you guys soon, hopefully with better news and under better situations and circumstances. But stay tuned, I'll have more videos. We're getting close to being finished with this book, and once that's done, then I'll be putting out some new stuff. All right, so I'll see you guys then.